Right, should we move on to SmackDown?
Let's do it.
Cool. So, fun-filled SmackDown this week. Bit of credit, because most of my my SmackDown is going to be moaning, right? So I'm going to start out by giving a bit of credit that this wasn't just, let's do what we did at Mania again and again and again, okay? It was better than last week for that reason, right? But I've still got a lot to moan about. So we start out with a moment of bliss, in which Nikki Cross comes out and wiggles her bum for some reason. That was strange. I mean, she's meant to be kooky anyway, so I suppose it kind of works. So she rocks up. They are interviewing Braun Strowman this week, which is good. That, like, I don't just need to see Braun turning up and fighting people all the time. He's not the best on the mic, but with Alexa to lead it, I suppose it could have worked. But that being said, there wasn't a lot said here, so they were basically asking him how he feels about Bray, and he's sort of going on about how he understands how Bray works and he's not worried, and he was part of the Wyatt family, but he's trying to put that behind him, blah blah blah. And then notices a present in the corner, all wrapped up in pink wrapping paper, so naturally assumes it's for him, without anyone saying yet it is, and goes over, grabs it and starts opening it, even though no one said it was his.
In fact, they even said, no, it isn't for you. And he still carries on.
And he's like, oh, no, Team Little Big, what have you done? And she's like, no, I didn't get you the gift. And he still opens it because, who's going to argue with him? And it ends up being the black sheep mask that he formerly wore when he was the black sheep of the Wyatt family. And that, to be fair, he did a good job of selling being a bit freaked out by that. And then cue the creepy Bray Wyatt laughter. So obviously that's all it was needed. I think that we don't get anything else from Bray that night, but we got a freaked out Braun and a nice little build towards the pending feud. Not a bad way to kick off the show. A little bit different again, not just seeing him turn up going, I'm brilliant and I'm going to have a match with someone. It was all right.
Yeah, for me, this is one of those things that if you look at all the mechanics of what actually happened, it looks fantastic on paper. I just don't think it was executed very well. I thought Braun came across looking like a fucking idiot. Of course, you got me a present, but he's your world champion now. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. All that lead up to him opening the box was just shite. But once he opened the box and the sheet mask was in there and the way he sold it was fantastic. So it was like a tale of two halves, really, for me.
Yeah, I totally agree. Even as simple as having a label on it that said Braun would have given more reason for him to carry on persisting that it's his. It was just kind of weird. But only minor nitpicks. But yeah, it was better from the moment he opened it and then the freaky bit started. But that being said, it was almost... I think that's all you needed, but I do like Bray. I like the Firefly Funhouse. I like seeing his promos. I think he's a very creative guy. So it's a shame that that's pretty much all you get. But at the same time, you can be overkill sometimes. So it works for me. Right. So we had the Sasha Banks versus Tamina match because we all wanted that. That was exciting stuff. And we knew it was going to be a great match in a technical sense because they're both fantastic technical wrestlers, aren't they, Cal? Yep, you said it all there. Yeah. So typical, she's a big female. All due respect to Mina, but you're a larger female, so they book you as the way that WWE have always booked a larger female woman. So she's a monster. And then they even go. Do you know what? It felt a little bit like the WWE of old because they're almost mocking her for being big, which in this day and age is a bit shite. So the Sasha Banks offers her a legit Boss T-shirt, which I believe was a small. So obviously just designed to insult her a little bit. But basically Tamina's somewhat dominating the match with Banks because she's a monster. Then we have a bit of distraction from Bayley with a run-in from Lacey Evans. And Lacey lays out Bayley and then Tamina can get the win. So there we go. Tamina got the win. We're going to have Tamina versus Bayley. Is it next week or is it Money in the Bank? I think it's at Money in the Bank. In any case, she's going up against the champion for the title, which we all wanted to see.
Said no one ever.
Said no one ever. And yeah, what I don't like about this, right? I don't mind the match. That's happened. It was inevitably going to happen because they were clearly pushing towards Tamina versus Bayley, even though none of us can be arsed with it, is where they're going with Lacey Evans. So Lacey cuts a promo afterwards in which she's saying about she's not done with Sasha Banks, and she's got this new catchphrase now in which she says she's going to lace it up. Lace it up, Carl. Get your T-shirts today. Because her name's Lacey, you see. and they mean laces like boots. Clever stuff.
It's just gonna remind me of the old fucking whose theme song was that? That Light It Up or whatever.
Oh, who was that? Was it Kelly Kelly? It wasn't Kelly Kelly, was it?
Maybe, possibly, yeah.
No, wasn't she Holler? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, we should play Name That Theme with that. Whose theme was that, guys? Let us know. So she's got this new catchphrase of Lace It Up, and then she's saying about like she's gonna keep pursuing Sasha Banks until the mission is complete. You know, because she used to be a Marine. Did you know that, Carl? She used to be a Marine. Carl,
did she?
Carl, did you know she used to be a Marine?
I don't think she's mentioned that.
No, she doesn't talk about it much.
No, but, I've not heard that from her in the past 10 minutes.
If you watch carefully, you can notice the very subtle hints there.
Okay.
So she used to be a Marine, so the mission of taking out Sasha Banks is going to be complete. And then she took off her glove to unveil a Sasha Banks written on the back of her hand with a is it do not enter Sasha? You know, the crossed out bit.
Do not enter Sasha Banks. Wow, this escalated quickly.
Strict. I mean, as far as rules go, that's probably something you shouldn't do in a match. But yeah, so she had that sort of crossed out red thing across the Sasha Banks name on the back of her hand, which I believe is the woman's right. See
what you did there.
What I don't get with this is, didn't back in January, Lacey Evans put Sasha Banks out of action for like a few months, or a month at least. So how much more mission complete do you want to be? Like, this feud seems kind of out of nowhere since you've already put her out of action once. What more do you want? I don't know. Like,
that's a very good point, to be fair.
Does she want her dead?
They've clearly just gone, oh, well, I don't know, we'll put Bayley with Tamina for some fucking reason. Well, what do we do with Sasha? I don't know, Lacey? Okay.
She'll lace it up. It's all good. So we're going to get that inevitably anyway. And certainly from the looks of Twitter and various other social media, they like to banter. So Lacey's all about going for Sasha Banks now. So that's that one. So Tamina wins with shenanigans. Then we move on to Sheamus versus Denzel Washington. I can't remember his last name. Went with Washington. Okay, why not? Typical Sheamus getting the squashy victory because, well, to be fair, I'll give this one a bit of credit because this was, I watched the match. It happened very quickly and Sheamus gets the win. And I was like, yeah, they're still sort of making him squash random people without any direction. I was annoyed. And then he goes over to Michael Cole and starts giving Michael Cole a bit of shit. Because apparently, and it's a good job Sheamus pointed out because I certainly never fucking noticed it, but Michael Cole keeps talking about Jeff Hardy whenever Sheamus is about. Apparently. I mean, he did that time.
How does he know?
Well, this is the worst fucking bit because he went over straight away and he's like, there you go again, Michael. And it's like, how the fuck are you hearing what he's saying? Did he amplify it in the arena now?
I mean, I know there's no like fans, but still, I don't think you'd be able to hear. You know what I mean? Is he just like in the match, just listening along, like?
Yeah. And then he went for I think it's the film Full Metal Jacket. Could be wrong on that one. Sorry, guys. And he asked him what his major malfunction was, which tickled me. But yeah, apparently they're going to push towards some sort of feud with Jeff because when the charismatic Enigma came back, everyone went, do you know what? We want to see him versus Sheamus. That's going to be a great match. And I'll be honest, I could give a fuck about Jeff. I know WWE have got a hard on for him, but okay, it's nice to see him back. He's a high flyer. You know, he's good in matches. I've never really been big on Jeff anyway, so I'm not overly thrilled. But it's nice to see that they potentially have a bit of direction with what they want to do with Sheamus. But like Sheamus does, he'll probably turn around and go, I'm going to enter a match with Jeff Hardy. That was a shit Irish accent, sorry. And then it'll never happen because, as we know, when he announces stuff, it just doesn't happen and it doesn't get mentioned.
True. I did think the Jeff Hardy kind of vignette promo package thing was quite good. They're doing some sort of like 3-part or something by the looks of it, aren't they? So we were talking around his collapse and stuff.
Yeah, because he doesn't like to talk about it, but he was addicted to painkillers. Sorry, I'm being really bitter tonight. No, I'm sure it'll be fascinating to watch for whoever wants to actually bother watching it.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to discredit too much, Carl. He's been through a lot, and it's nice to see him on the other side of it. I can't, in all fairness, take the piss out of Jeff when I'm giving Jake the Snake such credit for coming out the other side of it. And I by no means want Jeff to fall off the wagon again, but I just don't see why he's so popular. But that being said, it's on WWE Network, I believe, is it, Carl?
I'm honestly not sure. I don't know whether it is literally just that, like the little 5-minute segments or whatever, and they've got it each week on SmackDown.
I thought they were suggesting a bit of a show.
Maybe,
maybe,
possibly. I mean, they've got a fucking show for everything else on there, so
yeah, I mean, give me 5 minutes. That'll do. That's all I need to know about Jeff. So that happened. For me, the only thing with it is that I don't think this is the match that Jeff should come back to. I know technically he had a match with Corbin for some fucking reason, but like this isn't what he should come back to. I think they could have booked this. Again, they're struggling with wrestlers who are actually able to wrestle, I suppose, at the minute. But does anyone want to see him against Sheamus? I mean, the Styles. Sorry, it was going to sound like a reference to AJ Styles there, but the Styles clash. It does. I don't see how it. I'm sure he can put on a great match, but like Sheamus doesn't really go for that sort of style, does he? Do you know what I mean? So I'm not sure how he's going to compliment Jeff. But seeing will be believing. We'll leave it at that. Right. So I was surprised at the next one, Carl. The next match was Naomi versus Dana Brooke, and this was a qualifier for the Money in the Bank Women's Ladder match. And the shock was Dana won. What? Like, I don't know how to feel about it, because I'm like, okay, that's nice. They're starting to push Dana a little bit. And then I'm like, oh, that's bad. They're really squashing Naomi there. Naomi, who, to be honest, looks so good in the Fatal 5-Way. I honestly thought she should have been a title contender, is now got pushed so far down, she's not even qualified for the Money in the Bank ladder match. Dana Brooke beat her.
That's really fucking weird. Honestly, it's really weird. I don't get it.
Yeah. And you know what? She got the win legitimately as well. It wasn't through any sort of shenanigans or craziness or pulling the tights or anything. It was a clean pin. So there's not even anything to bring any credibility for Naomi of going, yeah, I lost to Dana. Like, she's going to have to wear that forever now. I lost to Dana. Like, that's not good. No offense, Dana. You're here to be squashed. That's what happened. So it was not a bad match, but I was just quite surprised at the end results. I feel it's a massive discredit to Naomi, and I don't know why they don't want her in the title scene. She's certainly a better shout than Tamina. All due respect to Tamina, Naomi's a better wrestler in the ring, so just makes more sense. How do you feel about it?
I thought it was bullshit. Yeah,
bullshit.
She came back like red hot in the Rumble. Big debut, and then they've just fucking done nothing with her since. And to job her out to Dana Brooke, it's just fucking crazy. Like in a Money in the Bank as well. Like, surely if there's ever a fucking match that would be more down Naomi's street, it would be a fucking Money in the Bank, right? So I don't know.
Yeah. Has Dana ever even climbed a ladder?
Probably not.
But I mean, this one's
she's climbed a few things in her time, but a ladder's probably not one of them.
It's a corporate ladder now as well. So,
yeah, of course it is.
See how that goes. Right, so we move on from that to Sonya Deville coming out and getting to say her piece against Mandy. So obviously tries to get Mandy to the ring. She wants to explain herself. And can you guess what happened next, Carl? Sonya turned heel.
What? I thought they was going to be friends and just live happily ever after.
Yeah, I was expecting her to go, sorry. And Mandy be like, yeah, okay. But no. Sonya said that's basically it. Right, I've got to moan, and this is all nitpicky stuff, but I'm going to have to moan about this, right? Because Sonya's plan is fucking stupid, right? Because she reckons that she doesn't like Mandy now because when Mandy was interested in Otis, it was clear to her that she didn't have any priority for Sonya. And some of it made a bit of sense because she was saying like they could have been in the tag scene at WrestleMania, but she was too busy fucking around with the whole Otis thing, right? And then the more I'm sat thinking about it, the more I'm like, how was their plan going to work? Because she's not happy that Mandy had no time for her because she was interested in Otis. And her plan was to put her with Dolph, which would have still meant that she had no time for Sonya. So the more I think about it, the more I'm like, if they'd have not included Dolph at all, right, and just had Mandy get stood up and Otis get the black text, and then it all be revealed that Sonya was behind it, that would have worked. But to bring Dolph into it is like, what was your plan? Put her with Dolph and then moan about that? So
no idea.
As a story, it's a minor nitpick. But as a story point of view, I was like, okay, I kind of get that you're pissed off with her for, getting a boyfriend, basically. But would it have been any better putting her with Dolph? I really don't get the point in what you're doing there.
I mean, I feel like the only reason Dolph was there was so that Otis had someone to fucking fight, because
clearly, yeah,
he adds nothing to it, does he? It makes no sense.
You might not like this one because it split up a legitimate tag team, but what if What if Tucker got jealous as well? And Otis had a match with Tucker. Maybe not necessarily broke the tag team up. Maybe they buried the hatchet after that match. What if they had a match?
I mean, it would have made a bit more fucking sense, wouldn't it?
Didn't need Dolph. So I don't. Yeah, it puzzled me that. Don't get it. But yeah, so they back and forth, and then Sonya went for it, and then Dolph come out, and he's like, "Whoa!" And I don't know where they're going with Dolph because he didn't. That was all he did. He didn't sort of join her, as it were, and turn heel. He sort of was like, "No, let me explain," blah, 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 and was trying to sort of reason with the two of them. And then Otis come out, so then Dolph ran because Dolph's a little bitch, and that was that. So I'm not quite sure the idea behind that one. I don't know whether they're going to have Dolph go, well, clearly she's still not interested in me, so I'm going to turn heel anyway, or because he's kind of a heel. So I don't know. I don't know what. He didn't actually side with Sonya, so I don't know where they're going with that. Well, a little note I'll make, by the way, is that Dolph, I don't know if you picked up on it, but he ran out in a bit of merch there from Hawkins and Ziggler. Hawkins and Ryder, which was a nice little nod to his fallen comrades, which I thought, from a real world point of view, it's kind of sweet that he sort of showed them a bit of respect like that, and we'll talk on that in the ringside reports. But just wanted to mention it. Right, so we move on to the Daniel Bryan versus Cesaro, and I'll be honest, this was where I wanted a surprise because this was another Money in the Bank qualifier, and you expect Daniel Bryan to get the win, and you know what you got? Exactly what you expected. I kind of wanted a bit of a push for Cesaro. All due respect to Daniel, this is where a shock result would have been good. I would have been going, yeah, that's brilliant. Nice to see a push for Cesaro. He's very technically gifted. He's the Swiss Superman, as it were, and he could be something great. And he's always kind of been floundering in the mid card and been put in stupid tag team. I didn't mind the bar, by the way, but he's been put in stupid tag teams since. And it was a bit of a shame. But as you'd expect, Daniel Bryan won and is the first qualifier for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Do you have any feelings on that, Cal?
Same sentiment as you. I think it would have been an ideal opportunity to give Cesaro a bit of a push. I've been a massive fan of his for ages now, and I don't know what it is, maybe because he's not a good talker or whatever, but you could put someone with him. Do you know what I mean? It just, I don't know. He doesn't get the push that he so desperately, deserves and would benefit from. So, this could have been fantastic. Again, he would have been really good in the Money in the Bank. I mean, I wouldn't have booked him against Bryan in a qualifier. I think they both belong in there, but I just don't seem to understand why Cesaro's always the collateral damage in these kind of things. It's just crazy.
No, it's a real shame. It is. But, I don't know where they're going to go. He's obviously not going to be in the Money in the Bank qualifier. He's still hanging around Shinsuke, although we don't see much of Sami Zayn, so I don't know what the plan is for them, whether they're going to have any showing at the pay-per-view or not. But we're going to see Bryan in the ladder match anyway. And then we move on to the worst part of the night, right? So picture this, Cal. We have happy little Elias taking his guitar for a walk, as he does. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, he's attacked by King Corbin.
What?
I know, right? Because why? Because, for fuck's sake, right, no one can have a feud with Corbin that doesn't last months. Because just when you think it's done and dusted, no, it's not. And I know it's not Corbin's fault. I know it's a story thing, but they had a match at the biggest stage of them all, and Corbin lost. What more do they fucking want from the storyline?
Yeah. It is Corbin's fault because he's fucking shit, and I've got to sit here and watch his shit every week.
Yeah, but this is this is the thing. He's unlikable, but WWE aren't willing to admit that he's unlikable. And now we're having it where are they going to go with this now? He's he attacked them backstage, battered him with his guitar, etc., etc. So it's like, okay, so we're going to have another match. Is it going to be a steel cage again? Are we going to do exactly what we did with Roman? Are you going to somehow bring dog food into it? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel bad on Elias. I just think it's a real shame to be fucking stuck in something like this. I mean, it's good for him in a sense, I guess, because it's just Corbin. He's just I fucking hate him. I just hate him so much.
Honest to God, he's. Do you know what? Right, I mentioned this, right. And I'm not going to be unfair when I mention this, right? Because it's not a nice thing for anyone to say, right? But it just echoes the sentiment that people must be feeling, right? And I don't agree with this person on Twitter, but somebody actually messaged Corbin on Twitter basically saying, everything that's happened this week, why wasn't his name one of them, right? Which is a shit thing to say to anyone because at the end of the day, it's his job and you don't want to see anyone out of the job, right? But at the same time, that just shows you how people are frustrated with Corbin as a character. It's hard to break from the character to the real person, so you shouldn't throw shit at people and be toxic on the internet. But these are people who get that wrapped up in the story person, that they act like that. But the reason I mention it is because it sort of echoes everyone's feelings that Corbin is not a likable character, and they keep forcing these sort of things on you where it kind of ruins the other guy in the gimmick. It did nothing for Elias. They need to let it go.
Yeah, they do. And I think I'm so sick and tired of having King of the Ring gimmicks. Like, I love the King of the Ring concept, tournament bracket, having people go through to an ultimate winner. Love it. Why do they have to fucking prance around in a silly crown and think they're fucking hot shit? I don't know. Even the Lone Wolf shit was better for Corbin than this. He's a good worker to a degree. He's just really unlikable. And I don't know whether it's a gimmick thing, whether, whatever, but I just don't want to be having to sit through his shit in the current way it is every week. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. The minute you put a mic in his hands, you roll your fucking eyes because he's not great. And like you say, he just comes across as unlikable. He'd be better as more of a silent character. The Lone Wolf silent character would have worked better for him. Now he's just grating. He's grating. He's not even a heel or annoying. He's just grating. I don't want to listen to him. And I'm sure he's a lovely person in real life. I honestly don't know. But the character of Corbin is not something I ever want to see. And unless they totally repackage him or sort it out in some way, he's just going to keep stagnating other wrestlers. Mm-hmm. And like you say, this King gimmick's never worked. They've tried it before. They'll try it again. It's never worked. I'm sorry to mention it because I'm still bitter about it, but it was sort of, I brought it up actually on Twitter before. Wrestling Inc. put a post up about some comments Roman Reigns made, in which he was saying that basically, as part of it, he was saying that the wrestling product today is more realistic and more competitive, and it doesn't sort of buy into the sort of daft gimmicks. And I found that quite a rich statement from him, given that he's just really only just come out of a feud with Corbin, in which they've trying to push this hokey gimmick. And I don't think WWE have ever really changed. Don't get me wrong, you have a lot more realistic elements now. You have a lot more people who basically, Roman's justifying not having any gimmick at all. He's justifying just existing. But at the same time, you go, well, the biggest thing on the show at the minute is The Fiend. So, you can get some gimmicks that work, but the King one is one that's never worked, ever. So sorry, that's that rant over. And we move on to the main event, which, as you might recall, last week was booked in that we were going to have another triple threat, right? Which was this time going to be Jey Uso, Big E, and The Miz, and this was going to be for the tag titles again because fuck it, why not? First note I'll make is that Jey is a really awkward fella without his brother, isn't he? Even his little skip down to the ring was fucking awkward. Like, he felt really uncomfortable, and I felt uncomfortable with him.
Yeah, I think we know now why Jimmy was the one who got picked.
I know, right? He even cut a little bit of a promo by himself before it, and it's like, oh god, so awkward. I noticed as well, like, he cut his promo and he was saying about getting the juice or having the juice or wanting the juice. So we've got like SmackDown all about getting the juice, and then we got Raw all about getting the smoke. And in either case, I don't know what the fuck they mean. What is this nonsense?
No idea.
Anyway. They should just be honest, getting paid. That's the one you both want.
Yep.
Getting the money. So we move into this triple threat. I was never really big on the match because for me, it's the weaker parts. It's the weaker people. We're going into it going, Big E, that's going to be, and no offense to Big E. He's a big fella. But they weren't the best. They are the weaker counterparts of all of their tag teams. And it wasn't going to be high flying like the ladder match. It wasn't going to be much. And then the biggest shock for me was we had the results of Big E getting the big ending on the Miz and taking the win. So he's pinned the champion clean, and the New Day are now 8 times champions. They're actually the one championship or one title win away from hitting the Dudley Boys record. Just FYI, fun fact.
Mad.
So they're the champs again. The New Day are now the tag champs again, which I did not like one little bit. I didn't like it because the Miz and Morrison thing I don't think was done yet. I think they should have had a longer title run. I think it weakens the titles when you move them around that quick. Mm-hmm. And I think I know WWE, and I could end up regretting this because, again, I've called it wrong before. but I know the WWE, and I know what they're going to do. They're going to go straight into New Day versus the Usos, because they've been teasing that for a little bit, and that's going to be your feud. And then the Miz and Morrison are going to have fuck all to do with the tag titles now, which disappoints me massively. On top of that, to the Usos, all right, they've been a tag team, they've been there for a while, but I don't see a realistic win for the. I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to have the win for the Usos, but I don't see a realistic win for the Usos against the New Day. As tag team, they do the frog splashes and the brothers and stuff, but I've never really been overwhelmed with them in the ring. What I'd like to see as a fantasy booking, Carl, sorry to bore you with ideas that aren't going to happen, but what I'd like to see is some dispute over this. I'd like them to work with the fact that they were so restricted with WrestleMania, and it's sort of built into these two random singles matches in which Morrison kicks off and makes a big point that he has never lost the belt.
Mm-hmm.
And they almost have, and I don't want them to actually be a tag team, but they almost have a forced thing where Big E's got one belt and Morrison's got the other. And they move into something like that, where Morrison's trying to argue his legitimacy that he won fair and square. He got the pin, so one of those belts is his. I'd like to see that sense as a storyline, but they're not going to do it. No. They're not going to do anything with it other than have the New Day be champions again, and the Usos going, well, you still never pinned any of us.
I mean, the only thing I can think with them taking the titles off them so soon is maybe Morrison's going to get a singles run now.
I would like to see that, to be fair. I don't know who he's going to go up against, but it would be nice to see. Maybe Morrison's going to end up in the Money in the Bank ladder match now. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But, it's a shame, but we might get a good singles run out of it for Morrison. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on the match itself, Carl?
The same. I didn't want the New Day to win it. I'm a little bit over the New Day now, to be perfectly honest, and I'm a little bit over I'm very over the Usos. So it's just, I don't know. It wasn't the best of outcomes. I get it was like, title change on TV and shock factor, blah blah blah. But yeah, don't know. Just I wasn't digging it, and again, it felt just like more of the same shit. It was WrestleMania, but with the other guys, and it was just like, not good.
No, the only thing that good might come from it for the New Day is, I believe, there's rumors that Xavier Woods might be cleared to wrestle again soon. So it'd be nice to see Xavier come back and have a bit of a work with the belts. That'd probably make a bit of interest for the New Day.
Yeah, definitely. I think I always feel quite sly on him because it's always like the New Day of the champs, and it's always them two who've got the fucking belts on. Yeah. And Xavier Woods just in the background. He's
kind of been the valet for a while, hasn't he? Although I believe that originally stemmed from a McMahon thing, because Vince was all about the trombone. He loved the trombone, and he even said to Xavier at one point, always be playing the trombone. So I think it kind of became a thing of they'd have to carry the belts because he's going to be coming out playing the trombone. I think that's kind of where it stemmed from, because they were going for Freebird rules, weren't they? So any of them could have defended them. But I think that's where it originally stemmed from. But like you say, it's always sort of them as the title holders, if you will, and he's more the valet. But you never know. He might get a bit of because he's well liked. He's got his up, down, down on YouTube and that, and I think he's got a good following as far as fan base goes, even by himself. So you never know. WWE might have seen something in that as well, and might give him a bit of a push. Coming back. You never know. We can only hope. And that was SmackDown, as exciting as it was. So for me, I'd give it a 2. It was okay. It wasn't great. It was no worse than last week. In fact, it was probably a little bit better, but not enough to merit anything higher. So I'm still going to give it a 2.
I can't go higher than a 1.5. I just disliked so much of the show. I like the Cesaro Bryan match, but obviously it wasn't the finish that I wanted. I like the ending to the Braun thing with the mask, but the build up was shite, and that's literally all I can think of, to be honest. I mean, I'm surprised it's actually scraping a 1.5, to be fair, because looking back at it now, it wasn't good.
Yeah, it didn't really have any content. It was just a bit naff all around.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think both fair ratings, even though mine's slightly higher than yours. Both fair ratings, I think.
Yeah.
Right, so that is This Week in Wrestling.